Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning into the channel. This is Son of Liberty. So today's product review, as the title states, we are going to be talking about and testing some holsters from Harry's Holsters. Now the one that I've got right here is the one for the CZ-P10 Compact. Now, as a lot of you guys know, the CZ-P10 is a very hot commodity right now, and a lot of people are looking for options for this weapon. So one of the things that I wanted to test first was this particular model, but we have a multitude of different holsters to choose from. But one of the things that I want to mention is Harry's Holsters seems to me, they seem to be the transformers of the holster world, if you will. He's designed holsters to be able to give the end users the ability to transform the holsters into specifically what works best for them, okay? So we're going to take a look at that in detail here in just a minute, but first let's get to shooting and let's see what this thing can do. So now that we're done with the range portion of the review, I want to move on to what I like to call the personalized aspect portion of the review. So for me, this is going to happen on the weekend where I can test a holster between 12 and 15 hours continuously. So I'm not sleeping as it is, but this gives me the ability to test the comfort of that holster. So this weekend, I am running a non-RMR compatible holster from Harry's, all right? This is for the Glock 19. This gun has been made clear and safe. This one features the overhook from G-Code in conjunction with the Raven Concealment Claw. Now, I am also running for the very first time, and I'll explain more about that in just a few moments. But for the very first time, I am running a Glock 17 magazine with a TTI base pad. So anyway, this was really new to me, and I have been extremely comfortable with this particular setup. So anyway, the more accurate that I can mimic anybody else's lives, of course, the more accurate feedback that I can give you. So since I'm a family man myself, that is going to include going to the movies, dinner with the family, running errands, helping the missus with house chores, bending over to lace a boot or to tie a shoe, getting down into a car or getting up into a truck. So again, the more accurate that I can mimic what anybody else is going to put their holsters through, the better feedback that I can give you. Alright, so I'm going to be demonstrating how the Harry Holsters lays against my body. I'll talk about some of the different configurations here in just a second, but a couple things I want to cover real quick. If you run a weapon light, Harry's Holsters is not going to be a company that's going to work for you. Everything that he does is non-light compatible. Of course, he does offer several different RMRs, compatible holsters, but for the most part, At least, in my opinion, 80 to 85% of the people that carry guns on a daily basis generally only carry the gun, right? There's a lot of people that don't even carry additional magazines. So Harry's holster fits a specific niche within the market, okay? So that is something I wanted to bring up here real quickly. But this is the one that I just showed you just a second ago, but I wanted to demonstrate how flat the holster in this configuration lays against my body, okay? And I'm actually going to even bring up I'm going to grab my cell phone here real quick so I can even show you a close-up of how well this kind of tucks into the body. All right, so I wanted to grab my my phone here real quick so that I could give you guys a much better point of view here, okay? So you can see how everything just kind of lays very nicely tucked into the body, okay? You can see the Raven concealment claw doing its job there. Now, of course, the belt has a lot to do with that, right? This belt is just as critical as this holster is. If you are interested in a good quality belt that won't break the bank, this is the Core Essentials new gun range belt with the nylon wrapping. I believe they're sold out on their website, but they should have some in stock here in just a few weeks. But I've got a review of that on my channel. But let me actually switch the views so that I can change the angle here to give you a better look. Alright, so I just wanted to show you guys a different perspective, probably one that you're not used to seeing on reviews. And of course, look at these from a different angle from the side. So, I mean, this is where you're going to actually print. If you're going to print, it's going to be right there on the very butt of the stock. And as you can see, you just can't even tell, right? So the way that the holster is designed in conjunction with a good quality belt, it just really tucks in nicely to the body, okay? And that's really what Harry's holsters is really about. It's more about concealment and comfort, okay? And I believe that he does a very nice job with this. And it's not something that's going to break the bank, guys. So let me go back to the other camera view and we'll talk about some of the other options. All right, so we've got quite a bit to cover, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. One of the first things I wanted to grab was this carbon fiber black Glock 19 holster. The offset of the colors just really demonstrate the really attention to detail, but also too with the carbon fiber, it really sets off the details of the actual molding process. So you can see there where around the trigger guard, this inner well is, how nice and flush that is in the molding process. Just a really nice job. And guys, these holsters are very affordable. I've got to tell you that for what the work that you're going to get and the quality of work that you're going to get, these are very reasonably priced. You can also see here where the trigger guard is cut and how that just blends nicely right into the kydex, how smooth. And let me see if I can show you the polishing. There you go. See how shiny that is? That is just a sign of a really nice attention to detail polish job on that kydex so that you have a smooth surface all the way around. So no sharp edges, guys. And all the guns that we're dealing with here, guys, are all safe. They've all been cleared for this review. So I want to move on here to the one of my favorite newer guns that I've purchased. This is the CZ P10 Compact. One of the things that I really like about the one that he sent me for this one is the RMR cut. This gives me the ability of how I draw my gun is I do what's called the thumb over method. So this is where I'm placing the thumb over the rear sight, and as I snatch that gun out of that holster, this just gives me a place that my thumb is not impeded. One of the things that I didn't like about this style of holster was that I did not have a place to properly place that rear thumb on that rear sight, and because of my personal preference, I really like the RMR cut. Even though I never plan on running an RMR on this pistol, I want that access for my thumb right there. Also, I'm going to show you guys here on the front. You see how that kydex is just nicely formed around the very end of that pistol. That is just going to protect you, of course, from burns. If you're running this gun after a couple mags, she's going to get hot, and you're going to know when you put it back in your pants. So anyway, this will give you some added protection there from that. So anyway, just a really nice job, and you guys should also see a common denominator here on that setup. Same identical setup as we were running earlier for the Glock 19. Alright, so moving on to the next holster. This one here reminds me a lot of the Raven Concealment Claw, and it's just the way that it looks and it's set up. But one thing that I will say is that Harry's version is much, much thinner. So I'm actually going to scoot over here just so that I can actually show you how thin of a profile these holsters are. Okay, very, very nice. These are very slim in design, so just a really nice process, right? And of course, this creates a smaller footprint, right? So it's easier to conceal. But this one reminds me of the Raven Concealment Eidolon, or Eidolon is how it's properly pronounced. And that just really comes to the 2 clips, Raven Concealment Claw. And one of the other options that you can purchase is this pad. I'm not sure exactly, I always forget what this thing is called. But what these are actually designed to do is they go on the bottom of these holes here. You can actually place them wherever you want, whatever's comfortable for you. And what these do is this provides an additional layer of contact against the body, provides cushion, but it also aids in concealment. Now, it'll take me a little while to describe this, but I've got videos regarding this on some of my other holsters I've tested on the review or on my channel. I believe also Harry has some videos regarding this on his channel as well. So I'll leave that to him. If you guys have any questions regarding that, reach out to him or me. But anyway, I want to move on to the next holster configuration. This one reminds me of the G-code style, and the reason being is because of how it's designed. So I do not believe that G-code makes this one. They may. I might be incorrect on that, but I do not believe so. But again, you'll see a very common denominator with those styles because of how they are designed. So what this does is this forces the holster itself back to the end user, so it hugs closer to the body and gives you better concealment. Okay, so this is just another style, just another configuration. Okay, now let's move on to the Glock 43. This one is my favorite color. I don't know what it is about this color. It's called London Tan, and it's just a really, really, really nice clean color. But in conjunction with this red and this black, it just pops. But I'm actually going to have him, I love this color so much, I'm going to have him make me an RMR capable one, just because I really love the cleanness of this holster. It's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. However, moving on to a different version of brown, you can see there the contrast in the different colors there. This style of clip is actually probably one of the most concealment type of clips. You'll see a lot of these used on knife sheaths. The way that this one is designed is that when you pull this up, it's very, very tight. But when you pull that up, you'll see this little hook right here, right? So what this does is you feed this through, especially on dress pants. You feed this through up there, you close the clip down, right? You force it down till it closes, and now you'll notice that that little hook is making complete contact with this metal backing. Okay, this prevents the holster from being pulled up when you go to draw the pistol. All right, but what's nice about this is that you have 2 options. You can run your belt through here, or you can just simply attach this directly to the material itself, run your belt over top, and then tuck your shirt in behind it, and you never even know that it's there. Harry Holsters actually has a few of these on his Instagram page demonstrating how concealable this is, and I will make sure to post a link to his Instagram page in the description down below. So anyway, just a very nice additional option for that deep concealment, especially if you wear a lot of business attire and you really want to make sure that no one knows that you are carrying. Alright, so last but not least out of the holsters, is probably one of the most unique pieces that I've seen. I actually had to call him on this because I'd never seen one before. So you've got this piece of plastic, right? You can see how it moves on the very, very bottom. So check this out. If you are a gym rat like I used to be, and you want to have an option to conceal, or if you're going to be going for a walk, you're going to walk your dog, and you're just out getting some exercise, how this works is that once you take this plastic piece, you insert it over whatever style of pants or sweatpants or whatever you're going to be using. Now this takes just a little while to get used to, but what you do is you press on the very, very bottom of this until it snaps into place. It'll be an audible snap, or click if you will. Sometimes you have to start on one side and kind of press it downward until it snaps into place, right? Again, it takes a little getting used to, but now what that does is that completely locks that into place. So there's no way that the holster will come out when you go to draw your pistol, okay? So I can pull on this all day long and it's not going to come off, okay? So I'd never seen one of these before, so it was just a really cool design. So anyway, just really impressed with that, and it's amazing what plastic can do. And of course, when you're ready to take that off, you start on the bottom and you just pop that out, right? And then you just pull that out and put it back in your drawer whenever you're done. So anyway, I just thought that this was a really nice option, especially if you're going to be carrying a Glock 43 or Glock 42, one of those smaller pistols. Anyway, just a really cool option. So now on to the magazine carriers. So this portion I'm going to keep very short and sweet. I just kind of want to go over a few things, and I'm also going to explain to you guys what I was referring to earlier in regards to the Glock 17 and the TTI base pad concealment that I had referenced earlier in the video. So real quickly here, you guys can see that I've got two magazine carriers set up with the same clip, and then I've got a third option here. Now, these are the ones that I prefer because it creates a slimmer profile, as you guys can see there. Very, very thin, okay? Anytime that you attach any kind of attachment here or here, that is going to, of course, drive this holster back closer to your body, okay? And so I want a little bit more real estate since I've got a little bit of a stomach there. So I particularly prefer this one because it pulls the magazine carrier closer to the belt versus the style like this one. So you've got a wider profile, so this one's going to push the magazine carrier closer to your body. But in regards to the clips, guys, anything that fits, any clip or any attachment that works with Harry's gun holsters is compatible to work on these magazine carriers, which is something I thought was really, really cool. It gives you guys the ability to, again, transform the magazine carriers to what works best for you and your body type. Next, to explain my reference, what I was referring to is that this was the first time I was ever able to carry a Glock 17 with a TTI base pad as a backup for the very first time. I have always carried just a standard Glock 19 as a backup. So because how these are designed from the ground up with concealment in mind, that's the reason I was able to do that. So let me show you. I don't know if you guys had noticed, but in the video I was a little slow on my reloads, okay? So how these are actually designed is they sit so low. This is this is actually where they come to on your belt line. So right there is all you're going to have, okay? So when it comes to grabbing it, it's going to take some practice, and I was a little bit slower than what I was used to. The great thing about these is if you are in a concealment type of situation based on maybe your work environment or your travel environment, maybe your job, your undercover agent, whatever the case may be, these are going to conceal extremely well, and they were not uncomfortable. I thought because of how low they're going to sit, they might dig in. That wasn't the case at all. Extremely comfortable. But one of the things he is already implementing, and he's adapting actually as we speak, is he's coming out either with a different version or the ability to be able to change how these ride inside the magazine carriers so that you can adjust the ride height more specifically to your preferences. So I thought that that was cool. And he's coming out with a single stack on top of that. But just as a reference here, I wanted to show you the difference side by side of the Glock 17 magazine carrier with the base pad and the Glock 19. So you can see that there's a huge difference there. But again, this one gives you a really nice option for concealment. All right, guys, as they like to say in Hollywood, that is a wrap on Harry's Holster Reviews. So it is 3:03 a.m. and I am worn out. I'm about to hit the sack. But before I go, I want to thank Harry's Holsters for providing us with a 10% discount code off of any new purchase. That is something that is optional for him, so we want to graciously thank him. I will post that discount code here or maybe even up here in the corner, and I'll also include it in the video description down below. It is case sensitive, so please do keep that in mind. Secondly, if you are military or a first responder, make sure you reach out to Harry before ordering, because he offers a substantial discount for you guys upon proof, okay? So just something to keep in mind. And lastly, if you are new to holsters, you just purchased a gun, now you're looking for a great holster, and I know that you may feel overwhelmed, I can tell you this, that Harry has a solution for you, okay? It's what I like to call the starter kit, and I've actually written it down so that I don't jack it up too bad. But it's called the Insider Holster Belt Attachment Kit. Okay, it's under the Ready to Ship tab. It is $84.99, and what that does is that provides you with a holster of your choice for the gun, and it provides you with 5 clips. So it's really kind of hard for you not to find exactly what's going to work best for you, because you are giving options, okay, to kind of transform that holster into exactly what works well for you. So if you have any questions, please leave those down below. I want to thank, again, everyone for your continued support here in the year 2017, guys. And until the next video, take care, be safe.